What up, everybody? I'm out here on the historic west side. I'm revisiting these murals. This is the soul side of town. I'm revisiting these murals because there was some that I kind of said, wow, they look familiar, but I wasn't sure who they were. So we're going to start at the end here. Morning, brother. How you doing? Okay, as you know, that's Big Papa. Big Papa was slain in Los Angeles not long after Tupac was slain. I think he was in a giant Suburban or something with Diddy or somebody when he was like shot, riddled with bullets. You know, God bless the young man, died young. You have, oh man, his funeral in Brooklyn though was off the chain. I mean, Brooklyn went wild at his funeral. And they made a beautiful mural of Big Papa in Brooklyn also. I'm not sure the location, but you can Google it. It takes up a giant wall. It's awesome. Okay, you know Malcolm X. Malcolm X was gunned down in front of his family. I think it was the Audubon Auditorium by some black Muslims. And they say the FBI might have been involved. Terrible thing. That's the righteous sign. Back in the 70s, everybody had a hair pick with that handle, Afro pick. Breonna Taylor, you know, she was killed in bed by the police while she was sleeping. They didn't announce themselves. They just kicked down the door. Her boyfriend shot in self-defense because he didn't know who was home invading them, and she was killed in bed. Nipsey Hussle, he was doing so much for South Central Los Angeles, had a nice store, trying to help the community, and he was gunned down by someone I believe that knew him. Okay, now you know Tupac's story. Tupac got into something, him and Suge Knight and the whole gang. They beat up this guy, and then he was shot and killed around Koval. And they got a little pole where that's his little mural or memoriam in Las Vegas. But on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, he just got a star. Okay, I think that's another picture of Tupac also. Forgive me if it's someone else. Sandra Bland, remember she was just pulled over and the cop wanted her to get out, and all he had to do was write her a ticket, body slammed her on the ground, and then she was found dead in the jail. Very horrible. Trayvon Martin, you remember that? The guy was stalking him, some racist. All that stand your ground nonsense. Terrible thing. These are the 4 little girls from Montgomery, Alabama. I believe it was like 1963. They were just going to church. They were actually in the church that was bombed, and all 4 of them were killed. And Condelezza Rice was, I think, used to go to church with them. For some reason, she didn't go that day, or it was early. I can't pronounce this brother's name. Ahmadi somebody, forgive me. But you know, he was just jogging down the street, and a man came over him, white man, with a gun and shot him. And another man actually filmed it. This other guy, DeMario, I'm sorry, I don't know who he is. And then we got, I'm not sure who this brother or this one, but if they're on this wall, they were murdered. I think that's Breonna Taylor again, yes. George Floyd, you know, it started a movement that went all over the world when the man had the racist officer had his knee on George Floyd's neck. And that went all around the world. Down the bottom, you got Fred Hampton with his hand to his temple. He was murdered in Chicago by the FBI and Chicago Police Department while I think he was in bed sleeping also. Emmett Till, we all know Emmett Till's story. His mother really didn't even want him to go down south, and it was Money, Mississippi, and their motto, and Money was a great place to raise a child. Isn't that crazy? And I think the lady in the store that he whistled at supposedly finally admitted that he didn't do anything to her, but he just whistled. Okay, the white guy in the middle, that's John Brown. John Brown gave his life for black people. He led an insurrection at Harper's Ferry, and he thought all the black slaves was going to leave the plantations and fight with him. That didn't happen. Harriet Tubman and Frederick Douglass declined to come to Harper's Ferry. They thought it was futile, that you could not beat the government of the United States, and they were right. John Brown was hanged, but he fought and gave his life, him and his children, for black people. Okay, I believe that's Nat Turner holding the sword in the Bible. The slave masters made Nat Turner a preacher because they wanted him to preach to the slaves to be submissive and obey their masters. But I think he said God came to him and told him to rebel, and he led a rebellion, cut off some white slave masters' heads. Medgar Evers was killed during civil rights in his driveway. He pulled into his driveway coming home. As soon as he got out the car, it was a racist assassin across the street and shot and killed Medgar Evers. They exhumed his body like about 20, 30 years later, and it still was in pristine shape. It hadn't rotted or decomposed or nothing. It was crazy. The guy up top that might be, I'm not sure who he is. I don't even want to mention the name. Okay, the little boy, inmate number 250 right there. That is George Junius Steny Jr., I believe. He is the youngest person ever in the United States to be executed in the electric chair. He was only 14 years old. He supposedly had murdered 2 little girls, and there was a white serial killer in the area. They never investigated his trial. The jury deliberated 10 minutes and then found him guilty. And within, I think, 8 months, they had him in the chair to electrocute him. He was so tiny, 5'1", 95 pounds, that the mask to cover his face kept slipping off, and it was hard for them to attach the electrical cords to him. He was so tiny. And I think they hit the switch on him like 3 or 4 times before he finally died. He went to his death claiming his innocence. And when they strapped him in the chair, they asked him, "Did you want to say any last words?" And he was like, "No, sir." That's it, because he knew he was innocent. Martin Luther King, we know what happened to him. The hotel where he was murdered is now a museum, and where he was murdered at Memphis. And we all know the deal with Martin Luther King. He always preached nonviolence, but they killed him in a violent nature. So here we're on the historic west side, the soul side of town. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, it is early in the day. Would I come out here at night to do this wall? No, I would not. This brother here, I think that's Chevalier. They had a movie on him on Hulu, Netflix, whatever. Great movie. You know Mike Tyson. I believe that might be NWA. All the people on these walls are not dead, obviously. Some of them are still alive. Okay? And when you pan around, you can see the neighborhood houses. This is on 8th Street, and I'm right by Doolittle. You can see that down there, that way, Doolittle. The Circa, that's the most posh resort on Fremont Street, by the way, the Circa. Okay, you have a man, maybe that's Bass Reeves. They tailored the Lone Ranger after him, I'm not sure. Young Joe Louis. Joe Louis did time in the military, helped so many people that he died broke. Okay, you know, as black people, we fought hard to serve this country, and then a lot of these guys and women who served the country, they came home and some of them were lynched. Okay, the Eagle representing the United States, I guess. Thanks, y'all, for your service. The Red Tails, you know, they were down in Tuskegee, and they were some bad fighters during World War II. They protected the B-52 bombers back then, and people disrespected them because they were black. And then Eleanor Roosevelt, the president's wife, the first lady, she decided to get in a plane with one of them, and he flew her around, and that kind of broke the color line down. So shout out to Eleanor Roosevelt. The Buffalo Soldiers. The Indians respected the Buffalo Soldiers, the black soldiers, and gave them their name, the Buffalo Soldiers. They weren't really afraid of the white American army, but they knew them Buffalo Soldiers fought different. They were afraid of them. Jackie Robinson broke the baseball line. But black people prospered in Negro League baseball, though. A lot of them were not happy that he broke the color line, because all the Negro League owners were black. First black lady in space. Okay. Let me show you another one. Again, we got the projects right there across the street. And that's why I'm out here early. I think they're all still asleep. Okay, we got Barack Obama and Michelle, beautiful mural of them. I think that's General Chappie. That's he was I can't think of this man's Colin Powell. I'm sorry, thank you. He could have ran for president, but he didn't want to. Black soldiers in Time magazine. I don't know if there's anything on this wall. Wow, I didn't come to this wall. Wow, I missed a couple things. Okay, the first black vice president of the United States, and first black female, Condelezza Rice. Beautiful picture of Condelezza. Okay, again, some more black soldiers. All right, I think they're getting ready to wake up in the project, so I'm about to get up out of here. But again, I'm just joking. Don't be afraid to come out here, but come out in the day like me and get some pictures. Okay, I'm gonna get me a selfie next to this and I'm gonna roll. Love y'all. Hope you learned something. God bless you. Grambo Jones, LV.